again, following the same flow we have in textbook. So we know the mutual fund, hedge fund, pension fund, institutional investors, they give out this finding. What's the use case? As a finance accounting students, how do you going to use these findings? We're talking about the 2 use cases. How exactly you can analyze the data and help investors. So we are going to use 2 use cases. The first use case is private information. So basically, as I told you guys, the managers talking about their strategies in these findings. And we can use a large language model to capture whether the manager has private information about the underlying company they are trying to invest. So that's first thing we did. So basically, in my report, I may say, if I'm a fidelity manager, I may say that, oh, maybe I'm sure the Microsoft will do well, given the performance or given the investment of the OpenAI. So kind of corporate manager will talk about their strategy and discussion of particular firms or particular industry. We can use large language model to get this discussion and to identify, is this discussion contains private information about Microsoft, or is just nonsense, or is this company, the founder managers is doing cheap talk. So we can use large language model to identify whether the company, the discussion from the fidelity manager has contents or not. So this is the number one case. So basically, we use Google BERT. Why do we use Google BERT? To extract this discussion. And then we develop an algorithm to tell which discussion is information, which discussion is nonsense. So we use algorithm to justify, to see some of the discussion is informative, has private information, some of information just nonsense. So we use large language model, Google BERT, to do that. And then, so we asked 4 questions in the project. The first question is, do managers disclose this kind of private information? That's first thing. And the second thing is, if they disclose this private information, should we follow this type of manager to make a higher return? So if I'm a manager, I talk about private information about in my statement. Does that mean I'm a better founder manager? You guys should invest me? That's the second question. The third question is, what kind of discussion contains private information? And the fourth question is, if that's truth, can we follow, can we manually, can we do the same large language model, analyze the discussion? Can we know which mutual fund we should invest, which fund we cannot invest? So that's the 4 questions we ask. Let me just repeat it one more time. You guys see what is going on. So the first question is, we look at, do fund managers, fidelity, actually disclose this kind of private information in their discussion? And if so, can we follow this manager to make money, to follow the managers who disclose information to make money, to invest in better fund? And what kind of discussion has the private information? And also, do investors actually doing so? Do investors actually can tell which fund manager has the private information, which fund manager do not have? So this is the results we have. Just to give you guys a quick view. So we found they do have private information. So fund managers, they do discuss about their private information about the firm in their findings, in their discussions. So we found that. And we also find a lot of interesting stuff, and we also find so what kind of contains private information? We found when managers talking about the future, normally the founder manager has private information. When managers play humble, they also saying, it might be the case. This my conjecture. If the manager play humble, it's also they contain private information. That's very interesting, right? So normally you will think if someone is like play like a certain saying, I'm sure the stock will go up. Actually, it's not the case. When someone fund manager is very certain about something, is actually they don't have the private information. Rather, it's the fund manager, they play humble. They're saying, okay, there might be the case, the price may go up. When they play humble, when they play with the softer tones, it normally has the private information. So this is very interesting stuff. You guys can see, check more from textbook. You guys can see that when managers, some fund managers, they kind of talk about future, it has private information. And when they talk about humble, have a soft tone to make a claim, it has a private information. So going back to the 4 questions. So the first question is, they do talk about the private information in their discussion, and the large language model can extract it. So that's answer to number 1. They do talk about private information, and AI can help to extract them. That's number 1. So number 2, when they talk about future, when they talk about the humble stuff, when they be humble about their statement, they kind of has a private information. And do investors actually know? We found institutional investors know, but the retail investor doesn't know. So what does it mean? Institutional investors can analyze this discussion and know which mutual funds are good or bad, but retail investors do not know. So these are the answers to these questions. And this is the first case, and we are going to talk about the second case. We're going to talk about second case.